Welcome everyone to the City and Guilds training session. This session aims to provide comprehensive guidance for invigilators and center exam secretaries on the administration, invigilation and return of exam materials for English, math skills and customer services. We'll cover the following topics: preparation for the exam, during the exam, invigilation certificates and exam stationery, after the exam, packaging and returning exam papers. Introduction. Let's talk about purpose of these requirements. They are designed to ensure that exams are completed under the required conditions. We can authenticate candidates' work. We prevent malpractice. If these requirements are not adhered to, it could mean that candidate examination papers are not marked, results are incorrect or cannot be issued on time. Looking at the below example, the use of the wrong color pen on the form cannot be scanned. There is a potential delay to processing results. There are few potential consequences of not meeting the requirements. A few examples you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. For example, question papers aren't held securely, results might be invalidated, exam register isn't completed, could lead to missing results, examination papers aren't returned on time, delay in issuing results, answer booklet not completed as instructed, difficulties in delays in marking. Examination schedule for math, English skills and customer services. All these exams are happening in June. The schedule will be provided to you by OEC, however, this can also be found on the Wall Garden catalogue or on the front page of the question papers. Also, we're going to talk about it on the end of the video. Certificate in mathematics, that's a multiple choice examination supplied with non-personalized question papers and multiple choice answer sheets with pre-printed candidates' details. Candidate who passed the exam will receive a full certificate. Certificate in English, reading and writing, level 1 and level 2 customer service. It's a personalized examiner marked question paper. Stages 2 and 3 only are supplied with a source document. Candidates who pass both reading and writing and speaking and listening English exam will receive a full certificate. Let's go to the preparation for the exam. The first big step into preparing for the exam is receipt of the examination materials. On the receipt of any exam materials, it is very important to check the content provided against the delivery note. If you notice any discrepancies, mismatches, or issues, this must be reported immediately using the contact details provided below. The City and Guilds rep office email address jamaica@cityandguilds.com or jamaica.exams@cityandguilds.com. There are also phone numbers and WhatsApp. A few examples of issues with examination materials, such as incorrect number of examination papers or multiple choice answer sheets, missing examination papers, incorrect examination papers delivered which were meant to another center, missing invigilation certificates. Non-receipt of examination materials is also reportable. If you have not received the materials you were expecting, please report this immediately using the contact details above. Please also remember the sealed examination bags must be stored securely until the day of the exam. There are 6 important points to follow before the exam. Invigilators must be satisfied that the room is ready before allowing the candidates into the room. Candidates should be allowed into the room at least 10 minutes before the start time to allow them to complete candidate documentation. Before candidates start the exam, the invigilator must inform candidates of the rules which apply during the exam. The sealed exam paper bags are only to be opened in front of candidates. The invigilator is responsible for checking that the candidates have the correct exam paper and materials. Candidates who arrive on the day of the exam without a booking will not have an exam paper and should not be permitted to sit the exam. Any exam papers returned to the UK for such candidates will not be marked. For English paper, the invigilator must ensure that the candidate signs the front page of the exam paper. Preparing for the exam overview. So the role of the invigilator is to ensure that examinations are conducted in accordance with the regulations documented within the Joint Council for Qualification Instruction for Conducting Examinations. This document can be found on JCQ website, also going to be available on PDF as a link. Centers must ensure the correct invigilation processes are adhered to and must immediately alert sitting guilds to any suspected malpractice within examinations. Please refer to our guidance. You can see the link on the screen, which is going to be provided on the PDF, or also you can find it on our website. Preparing for the exam. Invigilators and center exam secretaries must ensure that the administrative processes around exams are supported effectively, including the sealed exam bags must be stored securely, the use of a dictionary and or thesaurus is allowed, candidates must use a pen with black or blue ink only, ensure candidates do not use a pencil or gel pen, the pre-printed barcodes on the front page of the exam paper must not be defaced, as this might result in the paper being voided. Question papers for absent candidates must not be given to any other candidate unless discussed as part of an emergency question paper process. Invigilators must ensure that the correct exam question papers and any source documents is given out to the right candidate. Candidates must only write their responses on the personalized exam paper for English and on the multiple choice answer sheet for math. Any answers written on the question papers, source documents will not be marked. Candidates for English exams must fill in and sign the front page of the exam paper, as failure to do so might result in a paper not being marked. Additional candidate barcode label will not be provided. Therefore, if you are using a non-personalized reading and writing exam paper, it is essential that the candidate clearly completes all sections on the front page. Let's move on to what we're doing during the exam. Conducting the exam with regulations, 12 steps. Start at the scheduled time. Clock must be visible to all candidates. A notice quiet examination in progress must be displayed. Books, notes, and scrap paper are not allowed. A sitting plan must be prepared ahead of time. The minimum distance between tables should be 4 feet. Essential information must be clearly visible to all candidates. Invigilators must be able to establish the identity of all candidates. Invigilators must be satisfied that the exam room is ready before allowing any candidates to enter. Candidates are allowed into the exam room at least 10 minutes before the exam to allow them to complete the documentation. Prior to the exam, the invigilators must inform candidates of the rules which apply during the exam. The sealed exam bags are only to be opened in front of the candidates. During the exam, if there is only one invigilator, she must be able to summon assistance easily without leaving the exam room. If there is collusion, cheating, and unidentified candidates disruption, a written report of the misconduct must be submitted to sitting guilds. No extra time is allowed. Exams lasting less than 2 hours. No candidate might enter, leave before half the examination time has passed. Exam 2 hours or longer. No candidate can enter 1 hour after start of the exam, and no candidate can leave the room during the first hour. Additional papers for candidates. Candidates can request additional paper if needed during the exam. This must be lined paper and should be supplied by the center. Additional paper must be clearly signed, candidate name and center number on each page, and stapled to the complete exam paper at the end of the exam. The number of additional pages should be clearly indicated on the front of the exam paper. Towards the end of the exam, 15 minutes warning, notify candidates they have 15 minutes left. 5 minutes warning, notify candidates they only have 5 minutes left. End of the exam, tell candidates the time is up, and to end, stop writing. At the end of the exam, collect all exam papers, check all candidate work is securely attached to the answer booklet, check all present candidates have signed the English exam paper, ensure all exam materials, including any blank exam papers, are collected before candidates leave the room, ensure that on the IC, ticks showing candidates present match the number of completed exam papers, MAs, and their names. Let's move on to invigilation, certificates, and exam stationery. Candidate attendance indicator. The invigilation certificate, IC, is the exam attendance register. An indicator within the columns of present or absent is essential for each candidate listed. For any candidate marked as present, there must be a script for English or answer sheet for math. Invigilator and center exam secretary signatures. All invigilation certificates must be signed by an invigilator. The school's examination secretary must also check and sign each invigilation certificate. Preprinted data. Only use the preprinted stationery provided. Please do not make any manual amendments or annotations to the preprinted data on the invigilation certificates. Please do not handwrite any additional candidates onto the invigilation certificate as the exam papers will not be processed. Your invigilation certificate for written exam. On the top of the IC, you can find the information about your center number, assessment details. Underneath, on the left-hand side, you can see the candidate details, list of the candidates that have been entered for the exam. You have 18 candidates per page, so you're more than likely to have 2 pages if you have more than 18 candidates. Underneath, you can see the additional candidates. This is the special space provided for 2 additional candidates per page. On the bottom, examiner. That's for the use of the examiner. Right hand side, you can see the invigilation and exam officer details to fill in. On the middle, the pink section is the performance code for examiner use. Please do not write here or alter any text in any way. Underneath the invigilator and exam fields, you can see the return address, which is contained the pre-printed address to which the scripts must be returned. Please make sure you don't write or alter any pre-printed text on IC. Your invigilation certificate for multiple choice exam. You can see on the top of the invigilation certificate there's a pre-printed text which will contain your center and assessment details. Underneath, on the left-hand side, candidate details, list of the candidates that have been entered for the examinations, 18 candidates per page. Additional candidates, there's special space provided for 2 additional candidates per page. Moving on to the right-hand side, you have invigilator and exam officer details. Center to need to add the invigilator full name in block capitals, sign and date. Also the date of dispatch along with the signature from the exam officer. Return of the address in UK. You can see also on the right hand side. There are a few examples of errors so you can see what needs to be avoided. So no confirmation of candidate's attendance, no tick to confirm if this candidate was absent or present, and this will delay processing of the exam papers. No invigilation signature or date. This must be completed on every IC. Anomalies in confirming candidate's attendance. An extra tick has been provided here but with no candidate's name. This will need to be queried with the center. A few more things to mention. Please remember to make sure that invigilation certificates are signed and dated by the invigilator and center exam secretary. All forms must be completed in block capitals using black or blue ink. All data provided must be kept within the boxes on the invigilation certificates. Accurately complete the invigilation certificates, ensuring each candidate line has a present/absent mark indicated by ticking the appropriate box for each as per example below. Please avoid crossing out any of the pre-printed details on the invigilation certificate, as this will cause delays in processing the exam materials. Using a red pen or pencil when completing the invigilation certificates. Substituting candidates under any circumstances, for example, crossing out any absent candidate and writing in the name of another candidate. Photocopying multiple choice answer booklets. After the exam, packaging and returning exam papers. Returning exam materials to OEC. Important. It is the invigilators and center responsibility to ensure that all details required on exam materials are completed in full, and that the information provided is correct. Incomplete or inaccurate data or incorrectly completed forms will cause a delay in processing and might affect the issue of results. Ensure no exam papers are retained or photocopied by center or candidates. Ensure all details are clearly and correctly completed on the invigilation certificates as well as the exam papers or multiple choice answer sheets. Pack all the materials and the following order: completed ICs, top copy white, completed exam papers, MAs in the same order as listed on the ICs, unused absent materials in a separate bag provided. Package the materials up as outlined in the next 4 slides. Only use the labels that correspond with the materials being returned. For example, label for 3850-101 for math, 3850-101 MAs. Use a grey return bag for each assessment. Ensure all exam papers or MAs and ICs are dispatched securely to the appropriate address in the UK. Please note there is no prepaid postage label supplied. It is the responsibility of the centre to ship parcels via trackable courier to the OEC and ensure sufficient postage is paid. Returning your exam materials to OEC. Once the exam has finished, please ensure all papers and their ICs are packaged together and placed inside the grey return bag. Do not mix ICs and exam papers from different assessments. Use a separate grey return bag per assessment. For example, 3850-101, 3850-201, and 3850-203 should be sent in 3 separate grey return bags. Blank absent exam papers should be packed separately and clearly marked. Handwrite blank unused and your center number on the outside of the grey return bag. Please note that return labels for blank unused exam papers will not be provided. All grey return bags must be sealed. Enter details onto the envelope. Write your center number, assessment number, and number of candidate exam papers you have enclosed within the grey return bag. Affix the return label sticker. Use the correct pre-printed return label and stick it in the space in the center of the grey return bag. Important! All completed exam papers must be returned to OEC immediately after candidates have sat the exam and no longer than 48 hours after. Any centers whose exam papers have not been returned within 48 hours, unless already discussed, will be subject to compliance review. Examination returns processed to OEC. Please ensure a copy of the IC, top white copy, is placed on top of the sealed grey bags, as this will be required by the OEC. The addresses are provided below for your reference. Please do not return exam stationery to the other address. If you are unsure, contact the Jamaica Rep office via the details in section 1 of this document. Please note there is no prepaid postage label supplied. It is the responsibility of the center to ship parcels via trackable courier to the OEC and ensure sufficient postage is paid. Returning exam materials from OEC to UK. For all written exams, such as English and customer services, please return all your scripts to StoreTech Services Ltd. For multiple choice exams, which is math, please return to SCC. Please do not return exam stationery to any other address. If you are unsure, contact the City and Guilds Rep office via the details in section 1 of this document. Please note there is no prepaid postage label supplied. It is the responsibility of the OEC to ship parcels via trackable courier to the above scanning companies and ensure sufficient postage is paid. All completed scripts must be shipped to the UK within date provided on the end of the video. Tracking numbers for all packages shipped to the UK must be shared with the Jamaica City and Guilds Rep office and City and Guilds head office as soon as possible by filling in a master tracker provided by City and Guilds team. XGO4 Jamaican Invigilator and Center Exam Stationery Notice for English and Math. Exam material sent to Center will include the below notice to support exam delivery, covering some of what is included in this guidance. XGO4 Jamaican Invigilator and Center Exam Stationery Notice for customer services. The exam material sent to Center will include the below notice and support exam delivery, covering some of what is included in this guidance. Invigilator Declaration. This is the end of the training. Please scan the QR code on the right of the slide and fill in the form to confirm your attendance. If you're not able to scan the code, please see the link below, which can be typed into the address field in your browser. Timetables and target return date. Please see on that slide the exam dates and target return date for the exam. As you see, the certificate in mathematics, all stages are Monday, 9th of June at 9 a.m. Certificate in English, stages 1 to 3 are Tuesday, 10th of June. Level 1 and Level 2 customer services are Wednesday, 11th of June at 9 a.m. Please make sure all scripts are returned to UK by 27th of June 2025. Thank you for attending the training.